guys, it's Nancy. I'm doing a kind of different video today, and I'm getting the help of my cat who decided to jump in my lap. This is Mick Fiegel. But I wanted to do a video on decks that surprised me. And it might be a good surprise, it might be a bad surprise, but just decks that I expected one thing and I kind of got something different than I thought. I've only got 4 of them, but I'd love to hear your comments below about maybe a deck that you thought would be great and or you thought would be wonderful and, you know, and it was, or you thought would be horrible and it was great. So anyway, that's kind of the theme today. So let me start with kind of a lighthearted thing. This is the Fairy Tarot, and when I was collecting tarot decks, you know, early on I was getting a lot of mass market, and I was avoiding fairy decks. I was kind of, I don't want the sort of soft, fluffy, kid-like decks. But for some reason I ordered this one. I just saw some of the images online, and I thought, well, that seems a little different. And indeed, it was different. You know, I was expecting an arty fairy deck that I wouldn't like, and I got this and I did like it. So that was kind of the surprise. One of the things it does is the color palette. Well, I should show you that first. Look at this. Look at all the colors going on in this thing. Wonderful. It has sort of a dual set of borders. It has the color, and then it has these borders that have images that reinforce what's going on in the card. So there was that. The backs are fun, but the images are not, to me, that light fairyish image. They're a little more substantial. The artwork is really intriguing, and in some cases almost a little dark, and I like that. It definitely has some pop to it, some fun to it. The colors are amazing, and you know, there's a hermit, and he is not light and fairy-ish. He is interesting to me. I think that's a really interesting illustration. There's our Hierophant. And I like this one, the swords, where you've got the little dots of snow falling down to give more of an emphasis to that sword-like coldness. And there's our Fool. You know, he's unusual. He is a fairy. Some of these guys, I think, are gnomes or other kinds of creatures besides fairies. I mean, look at the devil. The devil is really cool. And dark. And we've got little skulls in the border around the devil. So it's got more to it than the light fairyish ones. We've got the bird looking down on the hang guy who's reaching for the strawberry. You know, just add some stuff to what's going on with that poor hanged man. And the tower, this mushroom that is toppling, toadstool, I guess, and little toadstools around the edges. Anyway, it was just a deck that I said, well, it's not light fairy-ish. It's fun. The artwork is fun. It's got some darkness to it, some quirkiness to it, so I really like that, and I'm trying to fend off McFeegle here. Okay, so that was one deck that surprised me in a very positive way. I really liked it. Okay, I'm going to go to the deep stuff right away. This is a deck that everyone loves. I have heard about it for a year and a half. It is like everyone's favorite deck, and they adore it. And I finally broke down and got it about a month ago. You will recognize the image. It's the Pagan Otherworlds by Uzi. And I like it. It's got some interesting artwork. It's very pippish, very pretty. The cardstock is lovely. some of the cards, like this one, read as very just kind of a medieval knight to me. The sun is the sun and a nasty little baby on a horse. The swords on a beach. The cups with a beautiful little landscapey design here. The art is very pretty. It's very nicely done. As I say, the cardstock quality is beautiful. And occasionally, when I have to look for one, you get one of these kind of odd ones. I don't think this is really one. It's the Empress. Occasionally you'll get one that, I'm kind of looking for them. You know, there are some that the creatures are a little different than you'd expect. Okay, here's one. I guess it's the pagan part. It's wearing a cloak that's got the head of an animal on it. So it's a little quirky, weird, but you know, it's beautiful art, beautiful cardstock. I don't love it. And everyone loved it. Everyone loves it. So that was a surprise to me. I thought, well, I'll break down and get it. I don't know why I've been avoiding it, but you know, it looks pretty, and maybe everyone says it's so great. I'll get it, and I'll get it. You know, I'll get why everyone thinks it's so great, but you know, I don't. It's very nice. I actually prefer, if you know, the Carnival at the End of the World Tarot, which I didn't bring here. Pretty much the same cardstock. Really quirky images, much more quirky, and I like it a lot better. So, as my grandmother used to say, that's what makes horse races. You bet on one horse, I bet on another. People have different tastes. So that's one that surprised me in a, you know, not great way. This one surprised me because I got it kind of on an impulse, wasn't too expensive. Somebody gave it a really good review, but it was Marseille, and I've never been all that much into Marseille. But it wasn't an expensive deck. I didn't expect it to blow me away like some antique Marseille, elaborate, gorgeous, you know, super expensive Il Meneghello deck or something. But I thought, okay, it looks fun. I'll try it, but I'm not going to like it. I haven't gotten into Marseille yet. I really don't know what to do with the pip cards. So I got it, and it's absolutely one of my favorite decks. It's the Tarot de Ozarks, and it is so beautiful to me. The art is beautiful, it's colorful. One of the things I like about the pip cards is that they're all kind of different. They sometimes have different background colors. The art is really pretty on all of them, but you know, that's different than the one I just showed you in terms of Pentacles, Magician. Look how vibrant these colors are. You just smile when you see them. There's strength. And, you know, here's a pip card, but it's got a different colored background. It's bright. It's fun. The art is nice. There's our sun with no creepy baby. Let's just find a few more pip cards. And the pip cards, I think... No. The pip cards feel, the colors and the art feel like the card should feel. So it gives you clues from the tones of the art. There's our Wheel of Fortune. It's just a deck I love, and I don't care. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't care that it's Marseille, because it got me into Marseille. I didn't think I would get into Marseille, but I'm starting slowly to get into Marseille. So this is really fun, and surprised me from the Marseille direction. I was doing Rider-Waite-Smith pretty much. I'd seen some Marseille. I had the Marie Celia Marseille, the little one in the tin. Really pretty. But I guess that was early enough in when I was learning about tarot, which has only been like a little over a year and a half, that the pips were like, they're not telling me what it is. I don't know what to do with that. This one came along at the right time. I know what the cards mean essentially right now, and I know what to do with a pip card. I know how to translate it a little bit. But this art, I just love the art. So this was the deck that surprised me in terms of loving Marseille, and this becoming really one of my favorite decks. The fourth one was a deck that surprised me because it's a curated art deck. And in watching everyone's reviews of different decks, I was getting the sense from some people that it's like, well, it's curated art. It wasn't created as a tarot. They manipulated the artwork in some way or chose the artwork to exemplify the tarot, but it's kind of an impure translation to do that. I just got that feeling. The Hush Tarot was an example of that, where people would be like, the art is pretty, but then I kind of shared it on some of the cards. It's like, what does that have to do with that card? And again, getting it earlier in the process where I need to learn the card meaning, and this image did not reinforce or help me with that card meaning. So I kind of was buying into that curated art was not my thing. And then I saw this deck by Melissa Wotherspoon, whose Arnhem Lenormand I'd gotten, and it's gorgeous. And I saw it on Kickstarter. I said, no, it's curated. And I saw it again, and then I was like, oh, I really like her stuff. And I was in a mood to buy, right? So I just bought it. And it turns out, again, to be one of my favorite decks. I think she did a great job choosing the art for the cards. Obviously knows tarot really well. And she did some manipulation to the art to make it a tarot deck that she did very well and very tastefully in almost all cases. There are a few exceptions. So what am I talking about? I am talking about the Lonely Dreamer Tarot, which uses the art of Odilon Redden. And the cards are just gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. The artwork is really well chosen. The cardstock is great. I really like this linen-y playing card type stock. It's flexible, it's sturdy, it's going to last forever, just like your playing card deck that you have in the bottom drawer that you've used for 20 years. So this just sold me on the curated art approach, where there are several that I've been like, no, I don't get it. But whether it's the mood of the card or the contents of the card, it just works. So congrats to Melissa. She did a great job. You see where she's added elements, pentacles or cups. In this case, she's added the swords to the Six of Swords. But the image is a great backdrop for the Six of Swords. It just makes sense. And the images she's put in of the Six Swords are not really obtrusive. Great tower, huh? Powerful. I love this one. Just a beautiful palette, beautiful art. And just look for a few more pips. There's the Eight of Wands. The image shows action, and she superimposed these sort of translucent wands on the image to make it tarot, but that image all on its own says action. There's just the clouds are riled up, and the horse and the rider are charging off, and the colors, the reds and so forth, are totally wands, and And then she's given us that tarot touch. And it just, to me, all comes together absolutely beautifully. And, you know, as I say, some of the, you know, they've got the swords. Now that obviously she's added the swords, but the posture of that creature looks like it's sneaking away from something. So she chose the right thing to put that image on. And there's another one with a sword added. There are a few where I feel there's some with cups where she has to put a lot of cups, but look at that Three of Wands. Isn't that beautiful and perfect? You know, there's a Four of Swords. Again, the swords have been added, but the image says what you need it to say about this. And I should have gone through this and gotten you a few. I mean, maybe there are 3 or 4 in the whole deck where I feel like maybe Justice. Looks like she put, I'm not even sure if she put the scales here in, as well as the sword. But it's a beautiful image. So I'm obviously not coming across the ones. Well, this is close. You know, we've added these cups. We've added the 6 cups. And they just sort of stand out as maybe they weren't part of that original image. They kind of stick out a little bit. But as I say, to my mind, there aren't that many that feel that way. You see how much I'm having to flip through this to find one that I feel that way about. I'm not finding them. So there you are, the magic of live video. Okay, yeah, there it is. What I wanted, right at the bottom. That 8 of Cups doesn't work. The 8 cups are just stuck there. If they weren't so bright, if they were more translucent like they were in other cards, it would work better. But again, I flipped through this whole thing and I've shown you maybe 2 that I think don't work quite as well. Anyway, the surprise on this one was that curated art can work. You have to do it well. You have to incorporate tarot with it well. You have to choose your art well. You have to do the production quality well, which Melissa totally did in this. It's a beautiful quality deck. I just love touching it. I love the backs of it. Just gorgeous. And they go with the deck, which sometimes they don't. So those are decks that have surprised me, and I would love to hear if you've ever gotten a deck that surprised you. You thought it'd be great, it wasn't. You thought it was okay, I guess I'll get it, I'll try it, I don't think I'll it'll be okay, and you loved it. I think those are wonderful surprises. Now you have to collect a certain number of decks to find that, or maybe you don't. Maybe you've just collected 5 of them and one of them was a stinker. It surprised you. So anyway, that's what this video was about, and I appreciate you joining me, and I hope you have a happy New Year, because this is New Year's Eve and on my end, and stay safe. Take care.